Do not search for paradise and hell only in the future. Both are present here, in this very moment. Whenever we manage to love someone without expectation, calculation, or bargaining, we are already in paradise. Whenever we fall into conflict with others, whenever we touch hatred, envy, and resentment, we plunge straight into hell. When you hear these words, friend, let them touch the place within you where truth does not need permission to speak. For Shams is not pointing to a distant realm nor a cosmic story reserved for angels and prophets. He is pointing to your breath, your heart, your unseen inner climate that shifts with every intention you release into the world. Heaven and hell are not locked behind veils of time. They open and close within you, like doors responding to the slightest pulse of love or bitterness. Your spiritual journey is not a voyage toward a faraway garden. It is the art of tending the garden that is already inside your chest. And on this path, you must learn to feel the subtle changes of the soul, how a single sincere act makes the heart expand like dawn light, spreading across an empty horizon, and how a single spiteful thought can darken the same horizon until the spirit suffocates beneath its own shadow. Shams approached this truth with a fierce clarity. In his presence, people felt their masks burn away. His fire was not meant to destroy, but to reveal. He believed that the divine presence is encountered not by escaping life, but by entering it completely. Every relationship, every emotion, every test. Because God has woven His signs into the fabric of the moment you are living right now. And in this precise moment, as you listen, paradise and hell are both open to you. Shams also said, "Do not fear deception, intrigue, or the hidden plots of others. If someone tries to harm you, God is already setting a trap for them. Those who dig pits fall into their own pits. This world operates on the law of return. Not a single drop of goodness is lost, and not a single drop of evil goes unanswered. Not even a leaf stirs without His knowledge. Trust this." This teaching is not merely a warning, it is liberation. Because the moment you release your heart from the burden of retaliation, you step into a higher realm where your peace is protected by the one who governs all outcomes. To live without fear of others' schemes is to taste paradise. To cling to suspicion is to chain yourself to the fire of your own imagination. But how does one live in paradise while the world around is shaking with conflict, judgment, and misunderstanding? Shams answers by directing your gaze to your own heart. For the heart is the true battlefield, not the world outside. The beloved Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, said after returning from war, "We have returned from the lesser jihad to the greater jihad, the struggle within oneself. That struggle is the soil from which all spiritual gardens grow." And this brings us to another essential principle from the wisdom of the masters. We have all been endowed with different qualities. If God had wished everyone to be exactly the same, He surely would have created us so. Failing to respect differences or trying to impose your truth on others is disrespect toward the sacred order. Look around you, friend. No two leaves on a tree are identical, yet they all drink from the same light. The Creator has dispersed His attributes across humanity like stars scattered across the night sky. Diversity is not a challenge to overcome, it is a divine signature. When you reject differences, you reject the artistry of God Himself. Rumi expanded this insight with a beautiful metaphor. Truth was a mirror in the hands of God. It fell, shattered into pieces. Everyone took a fragment and believed they possessed the whole.
In reality, each person holds only one sliver of truth. To insist that your fragment is the entire mirror is to enter the narrowness of hell. But to honor each fragment, to bow before the hidden wisdom in every soul, that is paradise. One of the greatest lessons in the Sufi path is that spiritual maturity does not begin when you gather knowledge, but when you soften your heart. As Shams said, to draw close to God, one must possess a heart like velvet. Every human being is taught softening in one way or another, some through illness, some through loss, some through heartbreak. Everyone is given experiences that dissolve the hardness within, but some understand the wisdom and soften, while others, tragically, become even harder. Your journey, dear friend, is to allow life to soften you. Every disappointment, every betrayal, every separation, none of it is accidental. Each is a chisel shaping the sculpture of your soul, carving away the rough stone so that your inner beauty may appear. Paradise opens when the heart becomes gentle enough to recognize God's touch in all things. Hell opens when the heart becomes too rigid to see Him anywhere. Yunus Emre, the saint of unconditional love, expressed this truth with simple brilliance. If you break a single heart, your prayer is no prayer at all. Even if you wash your hands and face, 72 nations cannot cleanse you. Yunus is reminding you that spirituality without compassion is merely ritual dressed in gold. The real measure of your state is how gently you touch the hearts around you. Break one, and paradise closes. Heal one, and heaven opens like a rose in spring. And again he says, "Come, let us be friends. Let us make things easy. Let us love and be loved, for this world lasts for no one." This world is ephemeral, a breeze passing through the night. What remains is how deeply you loved and how sincerely you forgave. But to love without expectation, to love without bargaining, as Shams urges, is not natural to the ego. The ego loves only to gain, to be seen, to be fed. It is a merchant. The heart, however, knows nothing of trade. It is made of generosity. To step from the ego into the heart is to travel from hell to paradise. Consider, my friend, how quickly the ego flames up in modern life. A single comment, a disagreement, a careless message, and suddenly the heart tightens, the breath shortens, and the mind fills with fire. In such moments, hell is not a myth. It is a psychological temperature rising within you. Paradise is not an abstract reward. It is the cooling of that fire through understanding, patience, and forgiveness.
Shams often confronted people with questions that pierced through their illusions. One of his strongest teachings was this: most conflicts, prejudices, and hostilities in this world arise from language. Do not cling too tightly to words. In the land of love, words lose their power. The lover becomes speechless. What does this mean for you today? It means that misunderstandings often occur not because hearts are distant, but because words are limited. Within love, silence speaks more truth than language. Silence is the soil where divine understanding grows. Sometimes the most spiritual thing you can do is hold your tongue, breathe, and let your heart speak through presence rather than speech. Ibn Arabi, the great master of metaphysical insight, added to this wisdom with profound simplicity. The ignorant person seeks to justify themselves with every word. The wise person examines themselves with every word. When you speak, ask yourself, am I trying to win or am I trying to grow? Am I defending my ego
or am I uncovering truth? This self-reflection transforms your tongue from a weapon into a light. It turns conversation into a spiritual act. Throughout history, the Sufi path has emphasized inner purification over outer achievement. Rumi teaches that you cannot reach the beloved by building towers of intellectual knowledge. You reach him by sweeping the dust within. The Mesnevi is filled with stories illustrating this, such as the tale of the scholar who knew countless books but could not recognize the state of his own heart. Rumi uses him as a mirror for all who mistake information for transformation. Real transformation happens in the hidden chambers of the soul, when your intentions shift, when your reactions soften, when your view of others becomes more merciful than judgmental. Paradise is the expansion of this mercy. Hell is the absence of it. And these states are not permanent destinations. They change with each decision, with each glance, with each breath. In the Mesnevi, Rumi writes that the heart contains 72 courts, meaning countless inner states. You move through them constantly. Sometimes an angel, sometimes a storm, sometimes a prisoner of your own thoughts, sometimes a lover drunk with divine presence. Your task is simply to notice the movement. Paradise is the awareness that brings clarity. Hell is the unconsciousness that blinds. Sufi masters teach that the journey begins when you stop searching outside for what is already inside. You have been walking through heaven and hell your entire life, though you may not have recognized their gates. Heaven is the moment you forgive. Hell is the moment you refuse. Heaven is the sweetness of loving without fear. Hell is the bitterness of clinging to harm. My friend, pause now and feel your heart. What is opening within you? Which door is unlocking? Which realm are you stepping into? As you continue to listen, let your breath slow down, because now we must walk deeper into the landscape of the heart, where Shams invites you to witness how paradise and hell rise and fall within the same soul. A single intention can lift you into light, while another intention can cast you into shadow. This is the mystery of human nature and the reason the Sufi path insists on constant self-awareness.
Rumi says, "Beyond the ideas of right and wrong, there is a field. I will meet you there." This field is not a physical place, but a state of consciousness where judgment falls away, where fear dissolves, and where the heart sees clearly without the distortions of ego. When you reach that field, paradise is the air you breathe. When you lose sight of it, hell appears immediately, not as punishment, but as the natural consequence of seeing the world through the lens of separation. Shams lived in this field. His courage, his blunt honesty, his refusal to let people hide behind polite illusions, all of it came from a heart rooted in that clarity. People feared him because he could see through them. They also loved him because he spoke to the deepest part of their being. And his message to Rumi and to you is simple. You will not escape the fire by running from it. You overcome the fire by illuminating it from within. To live in this world with an awakened heart is to realize that every person you meet is carrying a story you cannot see, a pain they cannot speak, a longing they cannot name. When you understand that, compassion becomes your natural response, and compassion is paradise. But when you forget,
even for a moment, and slip into judgment, resentment, or rivalry, you enter the realm of hell. The fire is not outside you. It is the burning inside the chest when ego takes control. Shams insists on this truth again and again. Heaven and hell are states, not places. They are immediate reflections of your inner world, and your inner world shifts according to what you nurture. Reflect for a moment. What do you feed your soul with each day? Anger, fear, and suspicion? Or trust, gratitude, and surrender? The seeds you plant become the world you live in. The fire you carry becomes the fire you see. The softness you cultivate becomes the paradise you inhabit. In the Mesnevi, Rumi tells the story of a man trapped inside a dark room. He panics, believing he has been imprisoned. But then someone opens a small window, and moonlight reveals that the door was never locked. The man was trapped only in his imagination. This story is a mirror for your spiritual life. Many times, hell is not an external prison, it is a belief you are clinging to. Paradise is the moment you realize the door was always open. Spiritual paths across time all agree on this. Everything begins with perception. Change your inner perception, and the world transforms around you. The Quran describes this beautifully. God does not change the condition of a people until they change what is within themselves. That change is the journey from hell to heaven. But here is the paradox. The path to paradise often passes through the fire. Pain is not the enemy. Hardship is not proof of divine absence. In fact, hardship is often the place where God hides his greatest gifts. Shams says that every human being is taught softness, but each is given a different lesson. Some soften through loss, others through love, some through the breaking of pride, some through the quiet realization that the world cannot fill the emptiness within. Your pain has meaning, friend. It is not random. It is not cruelty. It is divine instruction. Every tear you shed waters the garden of your heart. Every trial you endure is chiseling away the stone that keeps you from knowing yourself. This is why the saints do not run from tests. They embrace them with trust, knowing that every difficulty is shaping the soul for greater love. And what is greater love? It is the love Shams describes. Love without expectation, love without bargaining, love without needing anything in return. When you love in this way, paradise is not a distant reward, it is the very ground beneath your feet.
But how do you reach such love when modern life is filled with noise, distractions, and endless invitations to resentment? You begin by noticing the subtle choices you make every day. You choose whether to respond with kindness or irritation. You choose whether to assume the best or the worst. You choose whether to breathe deeply or react hastily. These choices build the architecture of your inner world. The Sufis say that every moment is a seed. Plant wisely. Each moment becomes a tree in your garden, and you will live among them. Some trees will give shade and sweetness, others will offer only thorns and darkness. You must decide what kind of garden you will breathe in. Shams reminds you, not even a leaf moves without his knowledge. This is not meant to instill fear. It is an invitation to trust. You are not walking through your life alone. You are being guided, shaped, and protected, even when you feel lost. The pitfalls others dig for you cannot swallow you when God is your guardian. Their traps become their own lessons. Your integrity becomes your shield. This is why the saints walk through the world with calm steps.
Their hearts are not cluttered with suspicion. They know the system is balanced, that justice is woven into the structure of existence itself. When you understand this, your fears dissolve. And when fear dissolves, you enter paradise. Your journey into paradise is not a straight path. It is cyclical, like the turning of day into night. Some days your heart opens effortlessly. Other days it feels heavy, restless, or wounded. This is normal. Even Rumi, the master of love, often wrote of nights when the soul felt distant from the beloved. But those nights too taught him. The ache you feel is not separation, it is longing waking inside you. And longing is one of the highest forms of worship. The Sufi poets described longing as the fire that purifies the mirror of the heart. Without fire, the mirror stays dull. Without longing, the heart stays asleep. And in the sleep heart lives in hell, even while surrounded by beauty. But an awakened heart lives in paradise even in the midst of sorrow. To awaken your heart, you must look deeply into your relationships. Do you love to be loved, or do you love to give? Do you listen to understand or to respond? Do you forgive to free the other or to free yourself? The heart that answers with generosity finds paradise. The heart that answers with pride finds hell. Look at your own life. There were moments when someone wounded you, yet you chose forgiveness. In those moments, did you not feel something open inside you? A lightness, a subtle warmth? That was paradise. And there were moments when you held on to anger, feeding it like a fire. Did your chest not grow tight? Did your breath not shorten? That was hell. You have already experienced both realms. The Sufi path simply teaches you to recognize them.
Yunus Emre, again with simple truth, says, "Let us love and be loved, for this world lasts for no one." This is not a reminder of mortality alone. It is an invitation to prioritize what truly matters. You cannot carry possessions, achievements, or pride into the next world, but you can carry the state of your heart. Rumi tells a story of a man who brought a bag of jewels to a river, boasting that his wealth made him happy. But when he slipped and the bag pulled him under the water, he cried for help. Someone shouted, "Let go of the bag!" But the man refused, choosing to drown rather than release what he thought gave him value. Rumi ends the story with a question: which bag are you drowning with? This question is for you as much as it was for that man. You must ask yourself, what attachments are pulling me into hell? And what can I release to rise into paradise? Another teaching woven deeply into the Sufi tradition is humility. Ibn Arabi reminds you, the ignorant person justifies themselves with every word. The wise person questions themselves with every word. When you begin to question your intentions, your tone, your reactions, your assumptions, you purify your heart. You remove the dust that obscures your inner mirror. And with a clean mirror, you begin to see the divine reflection more clearly. Sufis often began their spiritual training with simple daily practices: gentleness, gratitude, silence, service. These are not small acts. They are powerful tools that transform the fabric of your inner world. Serve others without seeking recognition. Practice humility without needing praise. Offer kindness without expecting anything. And slowly the gates of paradise open from within. To walk this path, you must become a friend to your own soul. Speak to it gently. Guide it patiently. Forgive it often.
Treat it the way you would treat a child learning to walk. For that is what you are, a traveler learning to walk toward the beloved. You may ask, how do I know if I am in paradise or in hell right now? The answer is simple. Observe the state of your heart. Is it spacious or tight? Is it at peace or at war? Is it filled with trust or turmoil? Your heart is the thermometer of your spiritual climate. It tells you exactly where you are. And if you find yourself in hell, do not despair. Shams would say that even hell can become a teacher. Fire can become light when you look at it with understanding. Every fall is an invitation to rise. Every mistake is a doorway to transformation. What matters is not where you stand, but which direction you face. Friend, you are not alone on this path. The masters walked before you. Their footsteps are in the soil beneath you. Their prayers are in the wind around you. Their wisdom is in the heart beating within you. When you feel lost, remember their words. They are lanterns for weary travelers. Before we end, reflect once more on the main teaching. Paradise and hell are here, now, inside your very breath. Love without calculation, and you will taste paradise. Fall into anger and judgment, and you will taste hell. Every moment is a gate, every choice is a step, and the path is yours to walk. If this journey touched something within you, leave a comment and share your own reflection. Write the words, "I choose the garden within." Let these words be a reminder that paradise is not a destination, but a decision you make with every breath. And if this path brings peace to your heart, subscribe to the channel so we can continue walking together. You are never alone on this road. Our next video awaits you, friend. The journey continues.